Today, I stand against demons, dogs, and even immortals, yet I feel peace, knowing they will all fall to my sky piercer.
All troops deployed.
Daring and bold, Immortal Suyu dared to challenge this dragon in mortal combat. The battle was swift and decisive, as I secured first blood for my subordinates. Furious, the Immortal joined hands with the demon to tame this dragon. The attack was intense and intentional, as Hanzo dealt a crippling blow, forcing me to withdraw to my tower. They gloated at my retreat and rejoiced, thinking they had won, not knowing this tyrant dragon planned to teach them a lesson on humility. Without hesitation, I unleashed my true power, declaring my intent with a vicious roar. Instantly, the enemy formation crumbled as they all fled from the dragon. But Suyu wasn't so lucky. Not wasting even a second, I charged down to bot lane and caught Gatokacha lacking. A fierce fight erupted, but even with my injuries, I struck him down and stood over his corpse. Understanding the threat I pose, the demon returned to bot lane, leading a deadly ambush, but once again, failed to harm me. Left alone with Suyu, I asserted dominance, beating, stomping, and taunting the junior, until Chip's cry for help reached this dragon's ears. Quickly, Suyu and Zetian cooperated to thwart my retreat, leaving me with no choice but to unleash the dragon and soar towards the tunnel with murderous intent. On the way, I spotted Exborg and gave him a warm glare. His failure in the previous match was still fresh in my memories. Gatokacha fell first, and we quickly brought down Popol. After which, we turned our attention to Zetian, but she narrowly escaped with her life. Lucky girl. I quickly returned to lane to engage Suyu. However, I was dragged to top lane by Chip, forcing me to unleash my dragon form and slaughtering everything in my path. Zetian and Popol tried to flee, but they were slaughtered as well, leaving behind no survivors. Upon reaching mid lane, I headed straight for my buff, but the enemy swarmed in to protect it. A fight soon broke out, resulting in Zetian's death. If only she minded her business, she would still be alive. Returning to bottom lane, I obliterated the tower only for the enemy to show their ugly faces. Quickly, Suyu ran, and I pursued. He cried for help, and enemies swarmed left and right, trying to save the helpless child. But I persevered, refusing to let this immortal walk out alive. Unfortunately, I failed. Under the vicious attack of several foes, Suyu slipped away and I was forced to retreat. Upon returning to bot lane, I cleared the minion wave and joined the battle. With my ultimate, I chased down Popol, killing him on the spot and murdering Gatokacha afterwards. With that victory, it was clear we held the advantage. Yet my guts warned me of an impending doom. I couldn't help but fear the enemy had already learned my weakness and was simply waiting for the right opportunity to strike. Pushing those thoughts aside, I raced to mid lane only to find Zetian open and helpless. Immediately, I charged in, but the enemy swarmed in from the sides, and I quickly realized it was a trap set up specifically for me. These scoundrels are getting smarter.
An ally has slain the
Upon revival, I raced back into the front lines and unleashed the dragon. Fury and rage reflected in every blow and kick I delivered on the battlefield. Overwhelmed, the enemy could only rely on the tower to stand against us on the battlefield. Regardless, I fought, tearing through their ranks within and beyond the towers. Unfortunately, I was abandoned by my subordinates in my greatest hour of need and perished in the front lines.
Enjoy the thrill of competition.
At this point, I could sense the end was drawing near. The enemy may have learned my weakness, but they needed to mobilize all their strength to shackle me, leaving my subordinates free to wreak havoc. They could not continue this way. We pressed the attack on their base, fighting on several front lines. With Chip's ultimate, we moved seamlessly between war fronts, fighting off several enemies, surviving Gatokacha's leap and Zetian's fury. That was until we were eventually forced to retreat by the demon, Hanzo. Having forced Hanzo to retreat, we quickly made our way to the Lord and attacked. I had hoped we would take the Lord smoothly, but the enemy wasted no time invading the jungle, forcing us to fight with our injuries. It was intense and close, but we managed to secure the Lord and chase the enemy back to their inhibitor tower.
Star burns for me.
The end was close, and I knew it. Chip initiated the final battle, requesting this dragon's assistance, so I joined the battle. Hanzo's ghost, alongside Gatokacha, was murdered first. Suyu soon swooped in, displaying bravery and valor, but was eventually overwhelmed and killed. Soon, nothing stood in our path to the base, and we marched forward only to meet the enemy team's final resistance. They fought back and even managed to strike me down, but failed to protect the base.
victory!
GG. If you want to see more Sky Daddy content, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the notification so you don't miss my next video.